A national fund supporting crime victims known as VOCA is facing drastic cuts in 2025. In Wisconsin, some nonprofits have lost more than 80% of that funding year to year. Although the cuts were expected, the Trump administration's pauses and cancellations of other grants and programs, firing of key staff, and sweeping executive orders have intensified challenges faced by victim aid organizations. Some actions were paused or reversed in federal court, but the uncertainty has caused chaos. Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reporter Ashley Lutheran visited Embrace, a provider of domestic violence victim services in rural Wisconsin, where staff members say they are facing life-threatening shortages.
It's our reality, and it's going to get worse before anything starts to get better. There's been, I think, a lot of stress and just trying to determine how do we change our programs to adapt to these changes, and these funding cuts, or do we keep trying to maintain the status quo, maintain normalcy of all of our programs?
The nonprofit, which opened in 1980, serves an area roughly the size of Connecticut with about 92,000 people. There are no bus routes, few ride shares, and the closest hospital with a labor and delivery unit is in Eau Claire, an hour or more away. And when advocates drive between their offices, it often takes 2 hours or more. Embrace is the only victim advocacy agency serving victims of domestic violence in the region, and the organization staffs a crisis line, offers trauma counseling, and connects victims to legal and housing services, and they're best known for their emergency shelter. On average, Embrace serves about 2,000 people annually, and their budget was $1.9 million last year, including $650,000 of federal VOCA funding and pandemic relief money that made up about a third of the budget. This year, the VOCA funding has plummeted to $118,000, about an 82% cut.
One of the adjustments that we had made to keep our doors open was to pull our 24/7 staff from our on-site crisis advocates who are at the emergency shelter, who were nearly 100% funded by VOCA, to just an on-call response, primarily working from home.
For the past few years, the nonprofit's board has tried to prepare itself for the cuts by leaving positions vacant, diminishing their staff members from 25 full-time staff to 12. Embrace also sought out new grants to fill the gaps, but is dealing with stricter rules for how money can be spent. For example, updated grant listings from the Federal Office on Violence Against Women now say that organizations cannot spend grant money promoting gender ideology or activities that frame domestic violence and sexual assault as systemic social justice issues rather than criminal offenses. A new lawsuit filed on behalf of victim service providers across the country is fighting those changes. But advocates say the new language can undermine services that they provide for people of color and LGBTQ people. And advocates say funding cuts aren't the only threats coming for organizations like Embrace in the next few years. For more on this story, visit the link in bio.